My heart it weeps for Ariana, Preston, families, and her friends. She was my niece, and she was a very good servant for the Chicago Police Department. She's also a servant of God.
Once again, L1 to Woodstock Ambulance Duty Crew, respond for an adult female fallen, unable to ambulate. The Robbins residence, 11 Chester's Place. Repeating to Woodstock Ambulance Duty Crew, respond for an adult.
A devastating, heartbreaking tragedy indeed. Right now, Mayor Lightfoot says the family is requesting privacy at this time. Chicago police not releasing a lot of details or specifics just yet. We do know that detectives are working to learn if the victim was targeted or if this was a random robbery.
Today, we're going to be heading to Chicago, Illinois, a multicultural city that has a beautiful skyline. It is the third biggest city in the United States behind New York and Los Angeles, and it sits on the southwestern shore of Lake Michigan. With 86 million visitors annually, the city is definitely known around the world. It is a gorgeous city with lots to offer. However, a lot of people know Chicago for the wrong reasons, and the major things being high crime and gang wars, which has caused a lot of concern in the big city. Now, I personally love Chicago and have had a great time visiting there, but just like any other place, there is crime, but Chicago seems to have a lot more in certain areas. Not only have too many young people lost their lives, but those who commit these crimes don't even care about law enforcement either. In the early morning hours of May 6, 2023, a Chicago police officer was shot and was unalive near her home in Avalon Park on the city's south side. The South Side is one of the major areas for crime, and it is notoriously known for the O Block and 63rd Street beef, past and present, between GDs and BDs. Ariana Preston was getting home from work around 1:40 a.m. when she was shot, according to Chicago police. The shooting happened during an apparent stick-up that officers believe might be related to another nearby robbery, according to law enforcement sources, who said the victim's gun was also stolen too. Shot spotters, the city's gunshot detection system, registered 9 fired rounds in the area, according to the police radio traffic around the time of the incident. A responding officer who arrived about 15 minutes later, but more than 30 minutes after the shooting, reported Officer Preston had been shot over the radio and stated that she was off duty and it was time to get an ambulance right away. The officer who found Ariana would end up putting her in the police vehicle and rushing her to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where she was pronounced unalive, sadly, according to the police. No arrests have been reported. Ariana worked for the police department for 3 years, most recently assigned to the Calumet District. Her father, Alan Preston, who lives in Los Angeles, would say she was trying to make a change on this earth, and it's unforgivable what has happened to her in his eyes. Alan described his daughter as a beautiful soul who always saw the best in people and had long wanted to be a police officer. He said her calling had seemed to be like destiny, recalling he and his ex-wife had a police escort to the hospital before she was born. He had concerns about the dangers of the job, even though she followed half her family into the profession. Alan would go on to say that was his baby. Everything he did was for her, and now he'll be dealing with this for the rest of his life. Ariana was pursuing a master's degree in criminology from La Jolla University in Chicago and would have graduated on May 13th, according to the university spokesperson. They would put on their site that the university community is shocked and saddened by this tragic passing, and they will also say she will be remembered by the faculty and classmates for her kindness, intellect, and her commitment to service, and they wish to express their deepest condolences to the Preston family and to all those whose lives she touched.
While the police station here remains bare of bunting, inside it's filled with grief as officers continue to mourn the loss of one of their own.
Heal the land now, Jesus. We bind up all these evil spirits.
With fingers intertwined,
and we believe her death will not be in vain.
the pain felt,
Let the blood of Jesus replace the blood on the streets.
spews through this prayer circle.
And you can only pray that something like this doesn't happen, but unfortunately, sometimes it comes right to your front steps.
As community and faith leaders joined 5th District Chicago officers in remembering one of their fallen sisters in blue, Officer Ariana Preston.
It hurts. I knew this young woman. You see these young people come willing to serve.
The Chicago FOP Lodge posting this picture of Preston. Police say the 24-year-old was shot and killed early Saturday morning after just arriving home from work near 81st and Blackstone.
Ariana previously earned a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and law enforcement administration from Illinois State University, where she met Professor Charles Bell after a class trip to the Holocaust site in Germany and Poland in 2019. Ariana said in an article published on her school's website that she was determined to enter the police academy to help build trust between unrepresented communities and law enforcement. I know a big thing for our trip was finding voices for those who didn't have a voice, Ariana said. When she got back, she wanted to be an officer. She would say, I felt like I could be a person to fight for justice.
Right now, we ask that you keep the officer and her family in your prayers.
Preston worked for the department for 3 years, Loyola University confirming she was on track to graduate May 13th with a master's of jurisprudence from the School of Law. Mayor Lightfoot speaking with family members earlier in the day, saying their lives are shattered.
When I got the call this morning, I wasn't just a mayor, I was a mom. And thinking about what the parents of this young officer would be feeling today.
Dozens of Chicago police joined the processional as Preston's body was taken from UFC to the medical examiner's office. Mayor-elect Brandon Johnson in a statement saying he's, quote, outraged and devastated by this horrific violence against a public servant and will do everything to support the family and CPD during this traumatic time. And Preston was assigned here to CPD's 5th District, described by many of her colleagues as well liked. Chicago police telling us no suspects are in custody at this time.
She was on the road to do so much more for her community, and that was all taken away in the blink of an eye. So senseless and so very sad. Only 24 years old with her whole life ahead of her. There's no respect anymore for anyone who is willing to take a life. It becomes more and more heartless where women and children are not safe. I really pray that there will be a change sooner than later because so many innocent people are losing their lives to violence. My heartfelt condolences to the family and friends of this amazing young woman, and I hope that whomever did it is caught sooner than later. So please comment your thoughts and prayers for this family in their difficult time, and hit that like button to share to make your people aware. And as always, remember, stay woke. Things change quickly.